Non beau côté où moi levé, moi dis bon Dieu merci. Avec toute sagesse, moi remercier la nature. Masque figure, ma qui on sourit, soulève-moi. Pendant des dents, moi déchiré. Fait noir envahi, moi, malgré moi, les mains baleine chaque jour. Moi senti faiblesse, v'lait envahir, moi les mambo la sirène. Mambo la sirène, côté où y'a c'est moi, besoin pressant sous. L'aime senti moi vite, c'est où moi relais, l'aime senti moi faible, c'est où moi chercher pour d'emblée, moi. Moi prier, moi méditer, moi équilibrer cette chakra, moi yo. Moi
early this morning, when you knocked on my door, early this morning,
Amadogbe yo mi wa se, papa o di amadogbe. Mi wa se, amadogbe yo mi wa se. Mi wa se o, amadogbe yo mi wa se, kuma yo di amadogbe. Mi wa se, amadogbe yo mi wa se. Mi wa se na ero, amadogbe yo mi wa se, janga di amadogbe. Mi wa se, amadogbe yo mi wa se.
And I witnessed something myself. In Carriacou, Grenada, they probably call it La Diablesse. There are spirits that would appear around certain time of the year. Spiritual things happen on the island. Round about the All Saints time, you would have so-called jumbies. They will appear. Where they come from, no one knows. They're supposed to be very well-dressed ladies, and they operate in the night times because they go to dances with the Mexican hats, flowery dresses. If you look all the way down, when you go down to the feet, you'll have one good foot and the other one would be a cow foot.
Support the preservation of a vital cultural tradition. Vodou faces erasure and misrepresentation in today's world. Your support ensures Vodou's future and cultural integrity. Help preserve this vital culture today. Support the
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD. New Orleans International Vodou Day. New Orleans International Vodou Day exists to restore rightful dignity, authority, and global recognition to the Voodoo family of tradition. Our mission, purpose, and the motive behind New Orleans International Vodou Day forms a single coherent vision to protect, unify, and elevate Vodou and Voodoo as living world traditions with deep ancestral, cultural, and spiritual authority. Our mission frames NOIVD not as a festival, but as a cultural embassy for Voodoo worldwide. NOIVD responds to the urgent needs of this moment, a time when Vodou is simultaneously sought after while yet misunderstood and misrepresented. Our purpose unfolds across several dimensions. NOIVD exists to protect the traditions from harm. NOIVD confronts misrepresentation in the media, exploitation by uninitiated practitioners, cultural theft and commodification, historical trauma and colonial narratives. And by establishing standards of authenticity, NOIVD becomes a shield for the traditions and the communities that carry them forward. NOIVD serves as a platform for public teaching, ceremonial demonstration, scholarly dialogue, youth and community education. And this ensures that what the world learns about voodoo comes from real practitioners, not stereotypes or outsiders. We continue to strengthen international cultural diplomacy through partnerships with the Republic of Benin, Haitian cultural and spiritual leadership, New Orleans cultural institutions, global diaspora communities, and NOIVD positions voodoo as a legitimate world religion with diplomatic presence and cultural power. And we continue to invite your support, participation, visitation, promotion of these events, donations, and sponsorship, support of our GoFundMe for this powerful legacy and expanding international endeavor. Please continue to visit us for connection and more information about participating, volunteering, and supporting our symposium, our Afroecology, and art exhibition on Saturday, May 23rd at Xavier University, and our sacred procession from the river to Congo Square on May 24th, NOIVD Day. We are also thankful for your continued support and participation on all social media platforms. And for those who participate and support this podcast live in chat and always in archive at your leisure and convenience, we're grateful. And do join us now live on platform with your mic, camera, or photo avatar by way of the QR code in the upper left corner of your screen or the scrolling URL code at the top or bottom of your screen. And visit vodouday.org, VODOUDAY.org, VoodooDay.org for more information, updates, and connection to this powerful, powerful event. Tonight, we continue our powerful discussion, the intersectionality of and differentiation of spirits, energy, and shadow. And tonight, we're going to continue talking about animals, animal totems, animal spirits, animals' connection to the spirit realm, a continuation of last night's discussion. I will be certainly unmuting my beloved co-host, panelists momentarily. Ray Alexander, we're certainly grateful and appreciative of your continued support and participation. My first priest, my Black Hawk Voodoo Wildman, armor bearer, initiated member of La Source, and my house, Joshua Nyland Tanner, and a second priest and our executive producer director of Respect the Voodoo, an initiated member of my house as well as La Source, Brother Tyson Horn. I will certainly be unmuting you momentarily. And again, I'm always grateful for your continued support and participation. And certainly to you as well who show up and support us always live in the chat. To our beloved community members and participants, greetings, love 1901. We certainly appreciate your continued support and participation. Daniel Neal 3465. We certainly appreciate you here on the ground as well as here in the virtual spaces. Ray Alexander, thank you so much for your continued support and participation in maintenance of the platform. And Real Radio Talk with Nigist 7774. Greetings and salutations to you and yours. Thank you for your continued support. And to our house member and brother, initiated member of the Source, Jeff Austin, and committed team member for NOIVD, we certainly appreciate you and your continued support, participation, and presence on this powerful platform. And thank you so much to our listeners and participants by way of all of our various social media platforms, our independent and collective Facebook pages, groups, profiles, certainly our regional, local, and international listenership by way of LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, and always thankful and grateful for our IG, Instagram listenership. Tonight, we continue the differentiation of spirits, energy, and shadow in ATR and the diaspora with animal spirits and animal symbology. Beloved family, elders, initiates, seekers, and honored guests, we gather this evening in the spirit of NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day, standing at the crossroads where the motherland meets the diaspora, where the ancient breath of Ouida Benin flows into Treme, Louisiana, and where the old ways continue to walk beside us in the present moment. Tonight, we speak on a subject as old as the first drumbeat and as current as the breath in your chest, the differentiation of spirits, energies, and shadow, and the role of animal spirits and their symbology across African traditional religions and the diaspora. This is not merely philosophy. This is lived reality. This is lineage. This is memory carried into bone, blood, and breath. In Ouida Benin, in the sacred groves of West Africa, the world is understood as layered, alive, and relational. There, spirits, Voodoo, Orisha, and Kisi are not abstractions. They are beings with identity, temperament, and purpose. They govern rivers, storms, iron, fertility, justice, and the mysteries of the night. They are approached with protocol, offerings, and respect. Energies, by contrast, are not beings. They are forces, the currents that move through creation. Among the Yoruba, this is Ashe. Among the Fan and Ewe, this is Se. Among the Congo, this is Moyo, the vital breath. Energy is not prayed to, it is worked with. It is shaped, directed, invoked, and harmonized. And then there is shadow, not evil, not demonic, But the unintegrated, the unacknowledged, the unbalanced, shadow is a part of the self or the community that has been ignored or suppressed. And in ATR, shadow is not feared. Shadow is understood, addressed, and brought back into alignment, brought back into the light. Across West, Central, and Southern Africa, animal spirits are not mascots or metaphors. They are living intelligences, embodiments of principles, guardians of thresholds, and carriers of ancestral memory. The serpent, the from Wedo to the rainbow serpent of South Africa, represents continuity, wisdom, and the bridge between realms. The leopard in Congo and Dahomey traditions symbolizes sovereignty, stealth, and the ability to walk between the seen and the unseen. The hawk and the vulture, messengers of the sky, watchers of truth, cleaners of spiritual debris. The horse, the vessel of possession, the body that carries spirit when spirit mounts. The goat, sacrifice, exchange, and the cycle of giving and receiving. The dog, guardian of the crossroads, companion of the dead, keeper of thresholds. Animal spirits interact with humans through dreams, omens, possession, divination, and the natural world. They are not symbolic only, they are active participants in spiritual life. When our ancestors were taken from West, Central, and Southern Africa, the spirits did not remain behind. They crossed the water with us in breath, in memory, in rhythm, in the quiet spaces between heartbeat and hope. But the energies changed, the shadows deepened, the animal spirits adapted. On the ships, the shadows of trauma became collective. The energies of survival became sharper and more urgent. The spirits learned to speak through new landscapes, new plants, new animals, new languages. In Haiti, the spirits became Loa, still African, but shaped by the land, the revolution, and the ancestors who refused to die. Animal spirit took on new forms. The black rooster for protection and fire, the horse as the symbol of possession, the snake as Dambala, guardian of purity and cosmic order, the bull for strength, justice, and unbreakable will. In Jamaica, Kumina kept the Congo heartbeat alive. In Trinidad, Shango thundered through the drums. In Cuba, the Orisha found new homes in the ceiba tree, the ocean, and the mountains. Everywhere the diaspora went, the spirits followed. And the animal spirits adapted to the new ecology, the new dangers, the new possibilities. In Brazil, the spirits met the rainforest. They met the jaguar, the anaconda, the macaw, the river dolphin. Candomblé and Umbanda integrated these beings into their cosmology, not as replacements, but as allies. The jaguar became a symbol of power, stealth, and ancestral presence. The anaconda became a river guardian, a healer, a keeper of deep mysteries. The macaw carried messages between realms. The differentiation remained spirits, beings with identity, energies, forces that move through ritual, shadow, the unbalanced self or community, and animal spirits, teachers, protectors, and guides. And now we arrive in New Orleans, where the river bends like a serpent and the city breathes like an old spirit remembering its name. Here in Treme, Congo Square, the French Quarter, and the back streets of the 7th Ward, the Sixth Ward, the Ninth Ward. The spirits took on Creole form. The Loa walked beside the Orisha. The Congo spirits whispered through the trees. The indigenous spirits of this land joined the circle. Catholic saints became masked, not to hide, but to reveal. Animal spirits in New Orleans are everywhere. The black cat, intuition, protection, and the unseen. The roosters that run the streets, dawn, vigilance, and spiritual authority. The snake, transformation and ancestral continuity. The horse, possession and spiritual service. And the alligator, ancient wisdom and the power of the swamp. And the shadow, in New Orleans, the shadow is not denied. It is danced with, it is sung to, it is honored as part of the whole. So today, at New Orleans International Voodoo Day, we stand at the crossroads of continents, centuries, and cosmologies. We honor the spirits, the beings who walk with us, the energies, the forces we shape and direct, the shadow, the parts of ourselves that require integration, the animal spirits, the teachers who guide us to symbol, instinct, and presence. We honor the ancestors who carry these traditions through fire, water, chains, and silence. We honor the practitioners who kept the drumbeat alive. We honor the land that holds us, the animals that guide us, and the spirits that continue to speak. And as my beloved panelists and co hosts, please unmute and join the conversation. As we open this celebration, let us remember we are not simply inheritors of tradition. We are participants in a living, breathing, evolving spiritual ecosystem. The spirits are here, the energies are moving, the shadows are ready to be integrated, and the animal spirits are watching, guiding, and teaching. May this day, may this event, may this continuity of legacy deepen our understanding, strengthen our lineages, and open the way for generations yet to come. Ayibobo, Ashe, Asheo, Merci, Impa Boule, Les Ele Espirits Passer. And good evening, each and every one of you. My beloved co host, Ray Alexander, please unmute and come on in. Brother Joshua Nyland Tanner, please unmute and come on in. Brother Tyson Horn, please unmute and join the conversation, as well as you out there in the live chat. Please enter your questions, comments, and requests in the live chat, and we will always do our best to read and acknowledge them. Greetings, everyone, and what say you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good day. Good day. How you guys doing today?
All is a blessing.
Yep. And this is a good topic that you guys bring up today. The animal spirits and the shadows. It's like Divine Prince mentioned. There is several in our environments that we as people of the diaspora and of many places and ancient indigenous peoples, that is something that that the that has been disconnected from us in a way, from a spiritual point of view. Most people look at them as these animals and these ancient beings as things of outside of us, that it's not connected to us, that we're not a part of it. But it's all the environment, everything in the environment is a part of what we utilize to make medicine, to make food, to bring life, to guide us, to heal us, to prepare and to move forward. And um, I do I do want to share a story with you guys. related to spirit animals. My first actual pet was an alligator as a child. Um, I had to be like around 7 or 6 years old when I got this pet, and it was a very spiritual connection I had with this animal. Something that I could see, feel, and have a heightened awareness of this animal, and also understanding the respect and the uh, uh, the how can you say, just like in voodoo, the the as a child I wasn't thinking this, but now as an adult, you look at these animals as the point of view that we take on to these animals as growing up and learning about animals. They're not a part of humans. They're not they can't communicate with us. They're just animals. But I knew from a child that these animals had a connection with us, and it was something that we lost in society. Just the way we live now, we don't live the way we used to live. We don't do the things we used to do. We don't have to go hunting and be amongst these beings through our living to find food or find things, or for them to show and guide us wherever we need to go. But back in the day, that's how our ancestors survived, and how we lived, and we lived amongst and with everything. And that speaks to the our what we have here in terms of our space here with New Orleans International Voodoo Day. We're trying to lift those veils of not so much secrecy, but just things that we never really looked at in that way, to understand it in a way of bringing together people, and also spiritually to connect us to our source of the universal powers that control everything that we see. And I know that we lean into that when we come up against resilience or adversity or revolutionary things, or to pull from within us, to protect ourselves and to protect others, and to move forward in the way that is natural, and that's not forced upon us by someone's belief or someone's understanding of whatever they have been informed of outside of what's natural and what's organic.
I think people also too often look at animals, as a resource. Tools, supplies, meat, food, hide. And particularly those with the least amount of real exposure to HER practice and traditions. They often think of sacrifice, or
Yeah.
the killing, of animals, but they're often not aware that even the deity, the Loa, the Orisha, all have animal totems in
Mhm.
nature. And as Brother Joshua was explaining, viewed animals as an extension of the family, the human family, the earth family. Back when I was doing guided meditations and exploring power and the mystery of quartz crystal and gemstones and minerals, one of the meditations that I used to love to perform was using your creative imagination. I was taught, as I teach, there's a thin line between your creative imagination and spirit realm, and using visualization and imagination to go into your mind and pretend to be an element, or pretend to be a particular animal, or a particular symbolic representation in nature, trying to feel that, be present in that, and allowing that energy to sort of flow through and pass through you. Even when we look at it from a biological, archaeological, scientific perspective, I believe we have a connection, not just to apes and to mammals, but to lemurs, and to other a unique species, in creation. I believe we've gained some of our instincts, our abilities from these, what we often refer to as lower or different forms of nature here on the planet. But our most first chakra, basic survival, often referred to as animalistic natures, are not very far removed from other creatures in nature and their instinct for survival. It is only as we advance up the chakra system as humans that we begin to explore other degrees of consciousness that we've been taught that animals don't possess. But as the women discussed last night, cats certainly show signs of some level of understanding and awareness of activity that's going on in our spaces that humans aren't often immediately conscious and or aware of. So when we look at nature, from the insects to to the various birds and reptiles and various even the bacteria and molds and other forms of life, they all have means of communication, means of gathering information, means of leaving a footprint on our world that I believe we somehow integrated through what's the word, evolution,
Yep.
as human beings.
I agree. I totally agree. Um, Tyson, eh, Tyson, are you there? You can add something if you like. You see?
I can ask. I can step in and
Oh
ask.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Or Elder Tyson, would you like to go
I'm not
ahead?
hearing
Okay.
anything
So
from
I would like
Tyson.
to say that I love this topic. Can you
Go
guys
ahead,
hear me?
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I would like to say I love this topic because for me, animism is a very big part of my spiritual practice, and with um, my family is very integrated into like not the earth and not just like animals and like with God and spirit and with like the flora. And so for
Yeah.
me, growing up, my grandmother was always would tell me that God put us on this planet to be the shepherds of creation. To not to be kings, but to be shepherds, to be guides and keepers and guardians of everything that spirit has put on this earth. And so for me, animals have always been something that I've seen as something that we have to protect and that's precious. And even in a ritual and ceremony, um, when animals are used as offering, a lot of people just think of like the Hollywood depictions of it, but most people wouldn't know that a lot of times, historically and culturally, when those things were done, depending on the ritual, sometimes those offerings would be utilized to provide food and sustenance to the community, and
Yeah.
sometimes those meals would be the only meals that some of those people would have. And
Yeah.
so every bit of that animal would be utilized for both spiritual, medicinal, or in sustenance purposes, which is very different than if you go to Publix or Walmart, you know what I mean, and God knows how much of the animal is thrown out, and the type of conditions it's kept in, and how it's unalived, that all goes into like the meat. And
Yeah.
so for me, I always kind of like to look at that, and I always like to kind of for like at least for our people here in America, I feel like a lot of times, especially younger people around me and Joshua's age, we kind of seek out other cultures for spirituality. There's a lot of religion here, but we seek out other cultures for that spiritual aspect and connection to source, for that foundation, that sustenance. And so we go to South America and Central America, and we look at in like Native American indigenous cultures, but there's so much folklore and so much history that we have here interwoven in the South, especially. You know what I mean? Growing
Hmm.
up, my family was very big on like gators, like Joshua said, catfish, snapper turtles,
Yeah.
raccoons,
Yeah.
possums, rats.
Yeah.
These are all significant things. And to the outside world, a raccoon or a possum would be, a pest or a rodent. But like, raccoons are intelligent creatures. You know what I mean? If I'm trying to evade something, I would want the spirit of a raccoon to help me. Or you know what I mean? Each of these animals are not just survivors, but they have powerful skills and lessons they can teach us to survive in the world that we exist in.
Awesome. That's a great point. Can you hear me, Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was having some trouble with microphones.
No, no worries.
There's two things that came to mind while you were all talking and when Divine Prince was giving his introduction. And I did want to say that, it doesn't surprise me that Brother Joshua, your first pet was an alligator. That just don't surprise me, bro. Knowing you. But just saying, bro. But something happened with me recently, and I like the Divine Prince's input on it. We touched base on it the other day, but we didn't elaborate on it. No, first I want to respond to Brother Ray. But I agree with you. It's almost like that saying where say you are what you eat sometimes. It's like we forget how connected we are to the other organisms of the earth. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the quantum physicist, he did a lecture one time and he showed this pie chart, and on the chart he showed all the different organisms that encompass the earth, that make up the earth. And on that pie chart, Homo sapiens, humans, we only, like, you would think that we would take up a big chunk of the pie or like a quarter of it, or a half, or even 90% of it, or something to that nature. We only took up a slither of that pie chart. It was just like a little slice, not even a regular pie slice. It was just a little slither that makes up the Homo sapiens, that makes up our space in this whole ecosystem. So, we talk about energy, we talk about connectivity. It's almost arrogant of us as a people to feel like we are so dominating over the animals and over the insects and over everything else that's going on. I mean, fungi and all these different things. There's so much to just humbling yourself as a traveler and as a person on this planet. We just have to sometimes just check ourselves sometimes to see exactly where we are in this ecosystem, because we're not always the end all be all, and we probably could learn from the organisms if we would pay attention to it. If you would look at the resourcefulness and the industrialness of bees, on how they operate and how they protect each other, and how they they colonize and how they do different things in order to protect the queen and so forth. Just as a people, the way bees protect their queen, how much more should we protect our queens when it comes to how we function in and around. And the other thing that happened recently was I was driving, and this cardinal, lately in my new location, I put up some bird feeders, and part of my morning routine is just sitting down, having my coffee, and studying and looking out the window and watching the birds and all and so forth. And the cardinals really stand out because of their color and so forth. And I learned a lot about the different types of birds based on bird watching and getting a book on it. But the other day, I'm driving at my neighborhood, and this cardinal kind of flew in. It landed right in front of the truck and then tried to fly away. As I'm driving at a fast pace. I was already out of the neighborhood actually, and I felt like I felt like I hit it. I couldn't feel it. It was a little bird, but I looked in the rearview mirror and I saw something red in the road, and so I stopped. And this is not the first time this has happened. It's the first time I'm really talking about it. But I stopped and went back, and I saw that the bird had died, and I took the bird and gave it a burial, like basically just buried it on the side of the road. And that's not the first time that happened. It happened to me a long time ago when I was in my teens, where it was a blue jay, something similar happened. And I felt like I was doing the right thing by giving it a proper burial. But then I thought to myself, like, I'm putting so much reverence in this bird because of, you know, my affection to it. Now I have to, you know, having seen them at the bird feeders all the time, but how many other animals and so forth that I disregard. I don't think about, like, you know, the animals that you were talking about when it comes to slaughterhouses and so forth. It's like, you know, it's like sometimes you just you just put out of your mind or put out of your heart the humanity of just another species dying. So I did collect and gather some of its feathers. This another similar thing happened in the state of Florida with a hawk as well, where it had been killed by something else, by a truck or something. But I stopped and I gave it a burial. When you know, it's just happened. Hadn't been roadkill for a long time or anything. But you know, these, you know, and I had kept some of its feathers that had flown off and everything. But you know, I don't even know, Divine Prince, maybe you can help me think about this, because I knew in that moment that I was to take some of these feathers, but at the same time, I didn't know how to see it. I know that it could be perceived as a warning. I could know it can be perceived as, you know, a message from the afterlife from some family member, but I'm not sure exactly how to place this, just because maybe it's just happened so quickly and I just really had time to really think about it, but it happened recently.
I would love to respond to your question on our next episode of Voodoo Hoodoo 101.
Check that out.
New Orleans International Vodou Day. We certainly are appreciative of your time and commitment as panelists, as well as those who show up here live with us in the chat by way of a social media platform near you, or by way of our QR code in the upper left corner of your screen with the little ducky head in it, or by way of the scrolling URL at the bottom of your screen. And I will say, before I move forward, I think it's not just my exposure to nature, to the Deep South, even to Weeblos, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouting. It was my exposure to the National Museum, the Smithsonian History Museum in particular, which some of you know was my playground. So I saw everything there from biology, archaeology, science, aerospace, and it, I believe, gave me a very different perspective in concert with ATR and how we view spirit and nature, and that sort of unique combination and connection. So indeed, if you will remind me, I will address your question on tomorrow night. I want to thank everyone for showing and participating, certainly those of you in Instagram. Omar Purvis 3, we certainly appreciate you. Matt, you are in Stanley, we appreciate you. Bucky Raw, thank you so much. LBM 27, we certainly appreciate you. Pretty Girls 101, thank you so much for joining us. Anise Solicious, we certainly do appreciate you. Jean Price, we certainly do appreciate your visitation. Savieto, thank you so much for coming through. Mew 25724, we appreciate you. Ionox, I believe, we certainly appreciate you. Industry Blitz, thank you so much for joining us. And Zay Schatz joined us this evening. And we invite you to, again, come tomorrow night, Friday night at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, or a weeknight, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, for our next episode of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support, your participation, your sponsorship, your GoFundMe support, your donations, and we look forward to you being present at this third annual New Orleans International Vodou Day. All is a blessing. Ayibobo, good night, and Odabo.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Putting our children into prostitution, drug trafficking, it's all over. It's because of Nigerians. That is the only thing that they trade in our country. You go in town, you go all over. You see them in the street, pretending as if they're selling this fake clothes. Underneath, there's drugs We go in our township, they associated, integrated with our South Africans to push their syndicate of drugs. We need to come together if you people are meant to be here in our country to see this country peacefully. You make sure all those illegal foreign nationals who claim to be legal in our country, with the status that it needs to be audited, you need to get involved because it's your duty to ensure that all Nigerians that are coming here, they are with a visa on a purpose. Whether they're here for the visit or for trade, then after a period of certain time, they must leave. But you're not doing that. As diplomat, what is your duty to be in South Africa? Maybe that you guys need to give us a response. You must tell us what is your duty to be in South Africa. Go talk to your people. Go talk to your people because when we talk to them, it won't be good. Because we are angry as South Africans, especially those Nigerians. Those Nigerians are the highest drug traffickers in this country, even human trafficking. They take our children, kids from school to be prostitutes in town, all over South Africa. They everywhere. They hijack buildings. They do a lot of Honduras crime that we're not used to in South Africa. People, this has to come to an end. South Africa belongs to us. We fought for this country. Some of us, we're still walking with the bullets of the past during the apartheid era. We're still having pains. We haven't achieved or we haven't enjoyed our freedom. The time where we're supposed to enjoy our freedom, there people come and infested themselves inside our freedom and bring our country into disarray. Putting our children into prostitution.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this white in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees, it's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Oh, do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He said it, table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says you only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.